Hi, my dear students. Very good morning to everyone. Welcome to the next session of our science class. I am Satish Kumar, your science teacher at Dr. Bison School. In the previous video, two videos, we have revised the concepts related to food components. We discussed about different type of food components, how to test them, what is the use of balanced diet, how one can keep healthy with good cooking habits. You remember? And we shouldn't eat junk foods. Founder of modern science of nutrition, James Lind, who discovered the disease scurvy, and it can be cured by eating fresh leafy vegetables and fruits. Isn't it? These all things we discussed in our first lesson part. Now, today we are going to revise with respect to the acids and bases. The second lesson, acids and bases. Today we are going to discuss about these two, this second chapter. Okay, my dear students. Now, so it is very better for you to open with your textbooks, get ready with your workbook part. If possible, notes also keep with you. So it will be very comfortable to you. Isn't it? Yes. Now, when coming to our lesson portion, acids and bases. Here, this lesson portion is mainly based on classification of the substances, based on their taste and based on their change of color. That is also one more important thing we have discussed about. Isn't it? Yes. Now, we have a substance called indicator. Why it is called an indicator? Because it is going to change its color when another substance is added. That's why it can be used as an indicator, and these indicators are of two types. How many types? Two types. What are they? Yes, we have natural indicators as well as synthetic, or you can say artificial. Okay, so with respect to natural indicators, we have discussed about so many indicators. We have taken turmeric, beetroot, mango leaves, hibiscus petals, extracted juice can be used as an indicator. Oleander leaves, I said. Okay, and when these, out of this natural, with the best one we have selected is turmeric, which is readily available in your house. So turmeric paste is applied on a paper and it is cut into different strips, and we have turmeric indicator papers ready with us. We have taken different type of substances and tested with them. What do we notice? Yes, especially we can say the milk of magnesia, lime water and soap. These substances when reacted with the turmeric paper yellow color changes to red color. Whereas lemon juice, you can take tamarind juice, you can also consider. Okay, and some more vinegar, apple juice, banana. These when treated with this turmeric paper, there is no change in the color. Isn't it? So here we have two type of substances. One who changes their color from yellow to red and one who doesn't change their color. Isn't it? Of course, later we have discussed that the substance which change their color from yellow to red when treated with turmeric paper are basic in nature. Are basic in nature. Isn't it? So when the substance is treated with turmeric paper, we can sort out into two types, acids and bases. Here we can see the turmeric paper, which substance change from yellow to red? Soap, lime water, glass cleaner, that is regular window glass cleaners, and milk of magnesia. Milk of magnesia changes from yellow to red color. Whereas petals of hibiscus, if we take that extract solution, again we can witness soap, lime water, milk of magnesia changes to which color? Yes, blue color. Very good. Similarly, mango leaf. These substances changes their color to yellow. Soap, lime water, milk of magnesia, glass cleaner changes the yellow green color to yellow color. Beetroot, these substances again change from red to yellow. Okay, my dear student, these are the things we have observed out. Later, we have used, so different natural indicators we taken: turmeric, beetroot, mango leaf, isn't it? Yes. Next, we discussed about some more indicators, that is litmus papers. Litmus papers. Okay, these are again classified how many types? Yes, two types. What are they? Red litmus paper and blue litmus paper. So how can we extract this? How can we prepare this litmus paper? That means you have to get down the litmus solution. How can we obtain this litmus solution? This can be obtained from the plant. It belongs to a plant called to be lichens, which is formed as a symbiotic nutrition between algae and fungi. So the whatever lichens were taken, these were lichens, these were made into a paste, like we will extract the solution from those lichens, and this solution is applied on the filter paper. After drying, you can able to have the blue litmus paper as well as the red litmus papers. And these papers act as very good laboratory indicators, or any type of indicator you can say. This can act as very good indicators. One can able to describe a substance is an acid or base based on these two indicators. So we have collected some substances, and if a red litmus paper changes to blue color, changes to blue litmus, we can say the nature of the substance is base. Nature of substance is base. If a substance turns blue litmus to red, we can say the nature of the substance is acid. The nature of substance is acid. Do you understand here? Yes. So bases turns red litmus to blue. Acids turn blue litmus to red. Do you understand? So if a litmus paper which is red in color turns to blue, then the substance is basic. Very good. If a blue litmus paper turns to red, when it is treated with a substance, then the substance is said to be acidic in nature. Do you understand this? These two are some more good indicators which can able to help us. And there are some substances which do not have any change in the color of red litmus as well as the blue litmus. Both the litmus papers, we doesn't identify any change in the color, and they are said to be neutral substances. They are said to be neutral in nature or neutral substances. So one can able to distinguish a substance from acid to base to neutral depending upon the change in the color of the indicators. Okay, and if you speak about these indicators, and I already told you that generally we speak of acids. We speak of acids as these are the substances which can able to produce H plus ions in their aqueous solution. They can give general definition. And base is a substance which can able to produce OH minus in its aqueous solution. You understand? Yes. So acid is a substance which produces H plus ions in its aqueous solution, and base is a substance which produces OH minus in its aqueous solution. There is a general, widened definition of an acid and a base. It can able to produce H plus ions. In deep we can say H3O plus hydronium ion, that is in the higher class we will discuss about, and bases produce OH minus. Examples from some acids. Here the acids and bases can be natural as well as artificial. Natural as well as artificial. Do you remember? Yes. And I am going to discuss this again, the natural acids present in different substances. Acetic substance I will say, and acid I will describe about it. Vinegar. So vinegar contains acetic acid. Lemon and oranges, these contain citric acid. Stale cheese, what type of acid present in it? Butyric acid. Good. Next, battered milk and curd, that is lactic acid. Spinach and tomato, we have oxalic acid. Apples, malic acid. Tea, tannic acid. Olive oil, oleic acid. Fats contain stearic acid. Grapes and tamarind, tartaric acid. Palm oil, palmitic acid. Next, umbilica fruit, that is amla, rich source of C vitamin, contains ascorbic acid. Urine contains uric acid. Urine contains uric acid. And some more substance we consider lime water. Do you remember lime water? Slaked lime, calcium hydroxide. Good. Glass cleaners, ammonium hydroxide, one of the weak bases. Soaps, sodium hydroxide or potassium hydroxide, the availability of base in it. And milk of magnesium is magnesium hydroxide. Do you remember this? It acts as an antacid. It teaches the property of acidity. Yes or no? It is the property of acidity. Okay, my dear students. So milk of magnesia act as antacid. We have already discussed in the concept of acidity. Okay, my dear students? Yes. Now, next comes to two more laboratory indicators to know the nature of a substance, either acidic or basic. Okay, already we have discussed about litmus papers. Blue litmus paper turns to red, indicates the nature of the substance as acidic. When a red litmus paper turns to blue, when it is treated with a substance, then the nature of the substance has to be basic. We are going to discuss about two more indicators. Do you remember those indicators? Yes. One is methyl orange. Methyl orange. This methyl orange has a characteristic change of two colors. One is to red color and another one is to yellow color. Okay, so if methyl orange indicator is added to a substance and the color changes to red, indicates what nature of the substance? Yes, acidic. Very good. Indicates the acidic nature of substance. If we go through one more color. See, if one more substance is added, methyl orange is added to some other substance and the color changes to yellow. If the color changes to yellow, which indicates the substance as base, that is basic in nature. So, in acidic medium, methyl orange turns to red color, and in basic medium, methyl orange turns to yellow color. Okay, my dear students. So, methyl orange shows the characteristic change of two colors. How many colors? Two colors. What are they? Yes, red color and yellow color. When acid, see, when methyl orange is added to acid, it changes the color to red. Same, the methyl orange is added to base, the color changes to yellow color. Okay, my dear students. That's about methyl orange. Still we have one more indicator. What is that one more indicator? That is phenolphthalein. Yes, phenolphthalein. Okay, my dear students, one more indicator, that is phenolphthalein. This phenolphthalein, when this is added to an acid, it remains colorless only, no change in the color. Remains colorless. When this phenolphthalein is added to a base, its color changes to, yes, very good, pink. In basic medium, the phenolphthalein shows pink color. So, when a substance is given and we added few drops of phenolphthalein solution, indicator solution to it, it remains colorless, indicates the substance is acid. And when a substance is taken and again few more drops of phenolphthalein are added to it and the color changes to pink, indicates the presence of, yes, base. Okay, my dear students. So this is all about methyl orange and phenolphthalein. Okay. In addition to this, I have explained about one more indicator, that is universal indicator. Universal indicator. I told you about pH value. pH value, power of hydrogen ions, is equal to, we have discussed in your higher classes, of course. I said whenever an acid is given, so what is the strength of that acid, or when a base is given, what is the strength of that base, can be able to known by using the pH indicator, which is said to be called universal indicator. Of course, it is not in your syllabus, but for additional information I have already told you. And pH value, I said from 0 to 7, remember 0 to 7, 7 to 14. 0 to 7 indicates acidic nature, 7 to 14 indicates basic nature. This I have explained regarding acid rains. Do you remember it? Yes. Every substance has some range of pH value. If the pH value range changes to a great extent, then it has adverse effects on the living beings, on the human beings. Okay, my dear students. Now, so do you understand about this methyl orange and phenolphthalein indicators? Do you remember those? Very good. Now comes some properties of acids. Properties of acids. Lemon juice is in acidic nature or basic nature? Lemon juice. Very good. It is acidic in nature. It is acidic substance. Now, see, we will remember the next one regarding the properties of acids, that is reaction of acids. Reaction of acids with metals. Reaction of acids with metals. Do you remember that experiment? Yes. When lemon juice added to different metals, we observed a colorless gas is evolved, and at the mouth of the test tube containing this gas, if we introduce a burning splinter or burning matchstick, it puts off with a pop sound. Do you remember that experiment? Very good. Yes. So metals. So we can finally write about this. Acids reacts with metals. Acids reacts with metals. What will be the products? You will get the corresponding metal salt, I can say. Metal chloride, metal sulfate, metal carbonate, depending upon the parent acid. And here here a colorless gas is evolved. Colorless gas is evolved, which is nothing but hydrogen gas. It is a colorless gas. What is the test for this gas? If we introduce burning matchstick near to this gas, it catches the fire and puts off with a pop sound. Isn't it? Yes, hydrogen gas. If you want to write the formula, it is the formula H2. Okay, my students. So, when acids reacts with metals, a colorless gas is evolved. What is that colorless gas? Hydrogen gas. Who discovered this hydrogen gas? Yes, Sir Henry Cavendish. Sir Henry Cavendish. Okay, my dear students. Next one. Now, reaction of acids with metal carbonates. Reaction of acids with metal carbonates. In this activity, we have discussed about eggshell. Do you remember that eggshell, outermost white shell of egg? Yes. When eggshell, we have added some amount of lemon juice. So lemon juice in the sense acid. Eggshell means we said about calcium carbonate. Calcium carbonate. That means a metal carbonate. Okay, this eggshell completely dissolves in this acid. That means chemical reaction takes place, and here a gas is evolved or a gas is liberated, and this gas puts off the burning matchstick. This gas puts off the burning matchstick. What is that gas? Yes, carbon dioxide. Here you will get salt of calcium, either calcium, if we add HCl, calcium chloride, if we add sulfuric acid with calcium sulfate, so corresponding calcium salt will be formed and we obtain a gas here, that is carbon dioxide. Formula if you want to know, CO2. C and O must be capitals. CO2, carbon dioxide gas is liberated. To test this gas, we have two type of tests. One, if we introduce the burning matchstick, it puts off. It is not a supporter of combustion, this carbon dioxide. That's why we use this gas in fire extinguishers. So whenever a fire accident occurs, you know the fire officeman will spray water with huge amount of force and pressure. Of course, pressure, and it also contains non-supporter of combustible gases. Those are non-supporter of combustion. One is carbon dioxide is the best non-supporter of combustible gas. And one more thing here, carbon dioxide is, if you want to say something about carbon dioxide, is a greenhouse gas. This we will learn in the later classes. Okay, so when you speak of about here acid we have taken lemon juice. Example activity in our textbook. And your calcium carbonate is nothing but eggshell. These two are reacted, chemical reaction takes place, it dissolves completely, and you will obtain carbon dioxide gas. And one more test for carbon dioxide gas. Do you remember that? Yes. If this carbon dioxide gas is passed into lime water, what's the chemical formula of lime water? Chemical name? Yes. Calcium hydroxide. Commonly it is also known as slaked lime. I said one more, slaked lime. Calcium hydroxide. If it is introduced into lime water, then this lime water turns into milky white. Lime water turns into milky white. I said about whitewashing of the walls. If you apply whitewash to the walls, in the initial movement, you can observe it is a dull color. It's dull, not at all bright anything. So after some hours of time, when this whitewash which is applied to the walls reacts with the atmospheric carbon dioxide, and you will get white nature, we will say bright nature of the walls. Okay, that is about the test for carbon dioxide gas. These are the two important properties of acids we discussed in this class. And then we learnt about acid rains. Learnt about acid rains. Do you remember? Yes. There is a lot of gases in the atmosphere. These gases travel longer distances and they react with atmospheric oxygen and moisture. And these gases are nothing but, here one important point to be remembered. I said, how we can produce acids and bases. Do you remember that? Yes. Non-metallic oxides. Remember, non-metallic oxides. These non-metallic oxides, when treated with water, they produce acids. That's why non-metallic oxides are acidic in nature. If we come about metallic oxides, if you burn a metal in the presence of oxygen, you will get metal oxides. So you can write metallic oxides. Metallic oxides are basic in nature. Basic in nature. So if you speak about the emissions from the factories and vehicles or so, they are non-metallic oxides mostly. Sulfur dioxide, carbon dioxide, nitrogen oxide, nitric oxide. These gases when mixes with the atmospheric oxygen and moisture converts into respective acidic compounds. So whenever there is a possibility of rain in those regions, They fall down directly onto the earth's surface. They may fall onto the water bodies, agricultural lands, or historical monuments everywhere. I said if pH value changes of rainwater changes a bit, when there is a change in the pH value, when the pH value decreases, more the acidic nature will be. The acidic nature will be more. So it has some adverse effect on the living beings. Aquatic animals, because of the change in the pH value of water, very difficult for them to survive. Historical monuments, I give an example for Taj Mahal, which is one of the ancient wonders of the world. And that Taj Mahal is going to lose its beauty because of the acid rain depositions, because of the huge industrial corridor in Agra, you can say, Delhi. Okay, and then so because of all these things, acid rains have some adverse effects. Not only that, it spoils or reduces the fertility of the soil, because soil also has some pH value. Because of this acid rain, the pH value further reduces. Therefore, it makes life difficult for the organisms present in the soil, like earthworms and some other microorganisms, which are very much helpful for the plant growth. Okay, so these are the things we have discussed regarding acid rains. And then we learn about most important this one, neutralization reactions. We learned about neutralization reactions. What do you mean by neutralization reactions? Yes, when an acid, that means when an acid is going to lose its properties by treating with a base, then the reactions have to be called neutralization. So acid reacts with base, produces corresponding salt and water. This reaction is very comfortable for understanding the concept of neutralization. This we can also call as acid-base titrations. You will learn in your intermediate classes. Okay, now, so when an acid is filled with a base, its properties will be nullified. So it becomes neutral. Those properties are being erased by the base. Similarly, when a base is treated with an acid in some concentrations, you can able to observe the basic properties will be nullified by the acid. This is so-called reactions have to be called neutralization reaction. So acid reacts with a base to produce salt and water. And also I described about these salts. These salts are of so many types. Mostly we feel that salts are neutral, but not like that. Acidic salts, basic salts and neutral salts. Do you remember these? Yes. These salts arise because of the reacting acids with bases. I said strong acid, strong base, neutral salt. Strong acid, weak base, acidic salt. Weak acid, strong base, you can have basic salts. Weak acid, weak base, we can't say it is absolutely neutral, it may depends. Okay, so these are the different type of salts we have learned in the class. We learned about copper sulfate, sodium carbonate, washing soda, sodium bicarbonate, baking soda, magnesium sulfate, .7H2O, that is Epsom salt, that is one more salt, KCl, MgCl2, potassium chloride, magnesium chloride, these are the various types of salts. See, all the salts are not neutral. Are you able to understand? All the neutral substances. We take about some examples. Glucose, that is a neutral substance, but it is not a salt. I mean, it is not a salt. Are you able to understand? So, like this we learnt about so many types of salts also. And at the end of the lesson, you have some important acids, bases and salts. Okay, my dear students. So at the end of the lesson, you have acids and bases and salts. Uses of acids, uses of bases and uses of salts. So I ask every student to go through this table portion. You have to read this many a times. There may be having a plenty of possibilities for getting blanks under this table portion. Okay, my dear students. So when we meet in the next class, we will go through discussion on different blanks. What type of blanks can be appear for the examination from these two chapters. Okay, my dear students. Until then, bye. Have a nice day.